Welcome to another episode of Smash Mouthing Football, and we're here with UK-based journalist Conor Parrott to preview Monday Night Football as the San Francisco 49ers make the journey to Minnesota to play the Vikings. Well, Conor, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, we are for a Monday night football special.
Yeah, it's kind of a new venture for us, but hopefully it'll go well. So the Vikings against the hosting the 49ers. One of the big stories over the last few weeks is the amount of rumours around Kirk Cousins. He is the touchdown leader in the NFL. I think he's tied with Tua with 14 touchdowns. Tua has been celebrated as an MVP candidate, and Kirk Cousins has been rumoured to be on the trading block. What do you make of Kirk Cousins so far, and what do you see are his strengths and his deficiencies, and what do you think of the rumours about him being traded?
Yeah, he's been really good for the Vikings. He's been a sort of their lone little spark this season. I mean, he's been in there for a few years now. You know, he's been in this system for a second year, and I think last year when they changed up head coach and they changed GM, there was a lot of rumors where he could have gone there, and they decided to stick with him. So I think, like I say, there's going to be a lot of talk of him going just because there's openings in the NFL like at the Jets, but I think I know they like him because he kept there for a reason, and he's got that no trade clause in his contract, so I think it would be smart for him honestly to stay.
And Kirk has always been very, very smart when it comes to contracts. I remember him at Washington. He had a franchise tag. He went on the second franchise tag and managed to force a move, and before he went to Minnesota. Um, Yeah, I think it could be. I think he's playing really well. Whenever I've seen the Vikings play this season, like one thing he's always been very good at doing is throwing the ball down the field. It's just that when he kind of gets put under pressure, he kind of makes dumb decisions in terms of trying to throw into tight windows and throwing interceptions. But with Justin Jefferson missing for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and the Vikings have managed to kind of turn around their season. Once again, every game is a one-score game, and I think they are 2 wins, 4 losses, all matches being within that one score, 8 point margin. What is it about the Minnesota that you think all these games are kind of coming down to the wire?
Yeah, I mean, they've completely rebuilded the defense, so that's took a little bit of a hit there. I think, Brian Flores on in the DC, he's been good, and he's managed some stuff on the defense. They're not giving up big plays, but it's just the consistency of their run defense has been pretty poor. And losing Justin Jefferson as well is going to hurt. So I think for the Vikings last year, I thought they were an average team and that were a bit lucky, and I think this year they're an average team that's maybe been a bit unlucky. So it swings and roundabouts really.
Could there be an average team that make the playoffs, do you think?
I mean, I think I wouldn't put it past them. Like I said, it's a long season. They've had a tough start and they've gone up against a lot of good teams, but a lot of things would have to go their way. You know, obviously Jefferson going's gonna it's not gonna help in the future. If that sticks around, it's gonna make things difficult. But I think I could see a world where they get to 7, 8 wins, and who knows, maybe they push on and momentum goes their way and a wild card spot opens. But I think for now they're on the outside looking in for sure.
Okay, one of the problems with the Minnesota offense has been the rushing attack. I think they're the fifth worst rushing attack in the NFL, and they didn't keep Dalvin Cook during the summer. Why do you think it has dropped off so much?
I think they're in a bit of a little bit of a rebuild process, especially with like the playmakers. You look at it, they've lost Adam Thielen, they've lost Dalvin Cook. Those are two players that have been big for the Vikings now for the last couple of years, and the people that they've replaced them with in Jordan Addison, and I know Madison's been there for a couple of years himself. They're new to get this kind of production and the NFL and what they're expecting. And TJ Hawkinson, I like. He's a former Lion, and I do like him, but he's not perfect. And I think, like I say, they're in a bit of a rebuilding process, especially on the defensive side as well. That it's going to maybe take a year or two for them to come back.
Yeah, TJ Hawkinson, he kind of when he got traded over to the Vikings last season, he was a huge threat in terms of the red zone. He was picking up touchdowns almost every week. Um, think he's 2 touchdowns to start the season, and there will be he's now Kirk Cousins' main passing target with Jefferson on the sidelines.
Mhm.
Do you think he is a player that is inconsistent, or do you think he's just not getting enough
I think,
attempts?
yeah, I've not seen him too much in the Vikings, and that's what I mean. I know he's been great in the red zone, but from a Detroit's perspective, I think he had that big price tag being the eighth, and people wanted to call him the next Gronk. But really, I think he was a great blocker in college, and then he sort of come to the pros, and he has struggled with that. I think he's not been the best blocker as he can. He's a great receiving tight end for sure. He's got good hands, runs route really well, but he doesn't get a lot of yards after catch as well. And I think that's what you see a lot with Hockenson, and that's why he's better in the red zone. It's because when you're looking in the middle of the field, he can get a big catch, but he won't turn it upfield and pick up loads more yards after the catch, which hurts in explosive plays. So I think he is very good. He is consistent. He is balanced as well, which you want in your tight end. But yeah, he just lacks that eliteness, I would call it.
And we're coming up against the number one defense in the NFL in terms of the 49ers. Um, the 49ers, I think, are going to find it very easy to stop the run against the Vikings. So what can the Minnesota offense do in terms of like trying to hurt the 49ers defense?
Yeah, I mean, we sort of saw it in the Browns. The Browns have painted a picture there for the Vikings, and I think they got to play good defense as well because you got to slow the 49ers down really if you want to keep this game anyway close. So again, you got to look at Kirk Cousins. He's your man right now. He's the leader of this offense, and I think he's a guy that needs to have a good game in order for the Vikings to win, and that should be the game plan. Really build around Cousins.
Yeah, the Vikings really seem to be putting the ball in Cousins' hands this season. I think they have the third most passing attempts with over 39 passing attempts per game, which is very very high. But it makes sense considering their rushing attack's been so poor. Let's talk about the um, Vikings defense. They've got some really big names on that defense. Daniel Hunter has topped the NFL with sacks. I think he's 8 sacks already on the season. Byron Murphy's been very very good in the defensive backs. Hicks, the linebacker, is coming off a brilliant game against Chicago. What can the Vikings do? Is there anything they can learn from the Browns in terms of how to tackle this 49ers offense?
Yeah, I think a big way of that is eliminating the run game. We know Kyle Shanahan, that's always been his philosophy to run the ball and then play off that. So it's something the Vikings have struggled with this year. They've struggled particularly stopping that run. So it's going to be a challenge. I mean, I like what Flores is doing. He's shown some really creative packages in coverage. I've seen some really unique like cover free schemes. So he'll try and confuse that offense, but I think they just lack a bit of talent right now. If I go back to like a rebuilding phase, they've eliminated a lot of that thing. Zadarius Smith was one of many that went. So I think Flores is a good enough mind, and it's going to be a really exciting and creative, like in depth way. If you look at it, seeing Shanahan versus these two going up with the tactics they do, but. Yeah, they've sort of got to eliminate that run, I feel, and sort of put the ball in Brock Purdy's hands because he is still young. You got to sort of force him to maybe win the game, really.
I think I was reading during the week that one of the ways that the Browns tried to negate Purdy was leave a little bit of space on the outside and try and get him to throw outside the numbers and kind of block up the middle of the field.
Mhm.
With the 49ers coming off their first loss of the season, do you think there's going to be a big reaction in San Francisco?
Yeah, I mean it's a huge. I think it's like was it a 16 game stretch or something they went on. If you look at the back end of last year as well, they don't really they come this common to losing really. So I think there's going to be fire in their belly. Of course, no one wants to lose, and they're going to want to put it away quickly to get back to winning ways. So I think it will be obviously in their mind, and we got to see how injuries play out because it's a Monday game. They get a bit extra time to maybe heal up, but for sure, I think 49ers will still be confident in themselves. That was a close game to a good Browns team, if we're being honest. So I think they definitely feel confident in themselves still.
Yeah, you had Debo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey leaving the field with injuries last Sunday. It would be very, very interesting if they were both missing, how Kyle Shanahan would scheme up this game. So let's go to prediction time. Who do you think is going to win and why?
Oh, I think I still got to go 49ers really. It's just the powerhouse there. I think the Vikings, they're just scraped a win against the Bears. If we are talking good about them, that wasn't the best win against the backup Bears QB with Justin Fields going down. So I still think this Vikings team, I think it will get better as the season go on, but right now they're in a bit of a sticky position, and I just think the 49ers are they're just going to overwhelm them in a way. And like I say, they'd be very determined to turn that loss around last week back into a win.
Yeah, I think the 49ers as well. For me, they're still the best team in the NFL. I thought one of the reasons why it was such a low scoring game with the Browns was obviously the Browns had a really good defense, but it was inclement weather, it was windy, it was wet at times, and they're going to be playing indoors in Minnesota. So I don't think they're going to be able to use that as an excuse. And I think one of the things about these 49ers is we've seen in the past that when they do have a loss, that they do kind of come back with a bit of a bite. And I think Minnesota are going to feel this bite on Monday Night Football. So, Conor, thanks very much for your analysis once again. And we'll see you later on in the week when we discuss Thursday Night Football.
Thank you very much as always. It was great talking.